Welcome back to another video on the law of attraction. Now in today's video, I want to give you some advice on how you can truly change your mind, how you can truly change who you are so that you can start attracting the things that you actually want. Now in my previous video, I talked a lot about the power of hypnotherapy or self-hypnosis or meditation. And I think people overlook this. I think they don't realize how absolutely powerful it is, because you only realize how powerful it is once you have applied it on your own life and you've seen the extraordinary change in your personality or in the way you are thinking and what you are feeling. Because I mean, all of us know what meditation is, and all of us have an idea of what meditation is, and probably we know the definition of meditation. We've listened to Joe Dispenza talk about it so many times, saying that meditation means to become familiar with. Now, it's one thing to know what it is, to know the definition of it, and to be able to explain meditation to somebody else. It's on a basic level, you sitting down in a quiet room, in a quiet space, or lying down, covering your eyes, putting on some music maybe, or staring at a flame, or doing whatever, and just clearing your mind, letting go of your surroundings and letting go of the feelings you are feeling in this very moment, the sounds you hear in the outside world. But it is so much more than that. That basically what I've just described is a way of just calming your mind and relaxing. It's a very nice relaxation exercise, and it lasts for the period of time that you're doing it. But then right thereafter, when you get out of it, slowly but surely, you start getting back into the outside world, and you return to the person that you were before, and nothing has changed. But what I want to talk about, and I want to give you some examples, and I want to guide you almost. I don't know if I will be successful in doing that. Maybe I'll put out a second or a third video where I will only do a specific meditation for specific things, maybe relationships or maybe money or whatever the case might be, and you can maybe do that. But the reason why I don't really like these guided meditations, and why I don't want to do these guided meditations, maybe I'll do one later, which is just to kind of give you an idea of what you should be doing by yourself. But the reason why I don't want people to just follow the guided meditations is because your problems, your beliefs that you have is individualized. It's only you. You can look at somebody else that, let's assume you are struggling with relationships, and you look at somebody else and you listen to their story, and they also struggling with relationships, and it almost feels like you're talking to yourself, to the same person, because it feels like your situations or your struggles are exactly the same. Now, unfortunately, it might seem like that on the surface, but because you are an individual, you are unique. The way you interpret certain circumstances, certain things happening to you will definitely be different, much different than the next person, even though it might seem the same. So I want you to train yourself. Maybe I can give you some guidance on how to do this meditation. Because the purpose of this meditation is literally to change the way you've been thinking. Because the reason why you do not have the type of life that you truly want is because of your beliefs. Now, you need to get rid of those beliefs. You need to alter, change them, replace those beliefs with something else that's in contrast to what you are currently believing. And you can literally do that in one session. I want you to realize the absolute power of this. People don't realize this. They will struggle, and myself included. I've been through this. That's why I know this, and that's why I want to share this with you guys, because I've been through it, and I still go through it sometimes, where I've got this deeply rooted belief or insecurity or whatever the case might be. And it's been keeping me from reaching my goals, doing what I truly want or love to do for years. And I know you might be exactly the same, where you just don't know why life has just not worked out for you. Why you cannot make the money, why you cannot get the partner? Why? All of those things. And then somebody comes along and say, well, you can actually change that with meditation. And you'll be like, oh, well, yeah, it sounds good. And you try it maybe once or twice and you don't do it right. And then you start losing hope in that or trust in that. And you go right back to living the life you don't want to live because you don't know what to do. Now, I'm here to tell you, and I know I've mentioned this in previous video. I'm doing it again because I want to emphasize this because of the power it holds. The ability or your ability to change literally like day and night. The belief that's been holding you back for years can literally change in one session, 1 hour, not even one day. This can change your life. This can change the direction of your life for the rest of your life. And you can actually achieve, accomplish, and live the type of life that you've always wanted if you just give this a shot. You just need the right combination for the lock. Because if you've tried meditation before and nothing has changed, then you didn't do it right. Now, I'm not talking about some complicated thing. I'm not talking about a week-long event. I'm not talking about you being able to become a monk or meditate like a monk or whatever, right? I'm talking basic stuff. You don't need to go see a psychologist. You don't need to go see a coach. You don't need to go see a hypnotherapist. You don't need any of that. In fact, I think, and again, just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I'm not a hypnotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm none of that. I'm not a doctor. I'm a regular guy that's been obsessed about changing his life. And I've applied these techniques that I'm going to teach you to my own life. And I've seen the absolute transformation. And if you want more, if you want to know more, you can contact me directly and I can give you detail of of my story, of what was wrong, what did I struggle with, and how I overcame that. And I'm not talking about years of practice and study. I'm talking about 1 hour of your life that can literally change the course of your life forever. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of a problem that you have, something that you don't have in your life that you would like to have. Let's say you're struggling with relationships and you want that one relationship with a specific person. It can be anything. It can be a dead standard house dog and a picket fence type of lifestyle. It can be a celebrity lifestyle with a celebrity of being with a celebrity being a celebrity yourself. It can be anything. Think about anything, and then think to yourself, how important is that to you? And then think to yourself, how many times have you kind of just fantasized about it, dreamt about it? And think about how many times you've actually hoped for that to maybe one day be your reality. And how many times have you thought to yourself, well, it's not for me. I'm not destined for that type of lifestyle. Or I wish I can have that, but life's just not in my favor, or whatever the case might be. But identify that one thing. It can be in relationships, it can be in money. If you want to make $1 million, then think about that. If you want to live a retired life and have enough money and to be able to do what you want, then think about that. It can be literally anything. It can be anything big, it can be anything small, but it needs to be something that you've been struggling with for a long time. Mentally, even if you haven't attempted anything to acquire that or to bring yourself in alignment with that, but it's something that you would truly want. Now, if I ask anybody, would you want $1 million? Most people would say yes, right? Almost everyone. But you need to ask yourself, it's not a case of if you can just magically make things appear. I'm talking about what you are willing to sacrifice something for. It needs to be something important for you. It needs to be something that would really change your life. So if you ask me, do I want to maybe become a rock star, play in a band magically? Maybe. I'm sure it will be nice. But am I willing to sacrifice certain things to get that, to acquire that? No, I'm not that interested in it. So it needs to be something that you're very interested in. Then I want you to think to yourself, what's been holding you back? Anybody can think about that. And I want you to think about that. Once you think about that, do not think, if your mind goes to the outside world, anything outside of you, like for instance, it's my parents. If I had different parents, I would have done this. If the government did something different, then I would have been able to do this. If Donald Trump was not elected, then I would have been able to do this, or whatever the case may be. If as soon as it's outside, cast that aside and say, no, that's not the answer I'm looking for. Because I guarantee you, I promise you, and this I know for a fact, that nothing outside of you is the cause. You might think that, and you might be so clouded to believe, to be so bitter and negative, maybe, about the outside world. And it's because of experiences, it might be because of experiences you've had. So if you're struggling with relationships, and you say, well, all men is bad, or all women is bad, or nobody likes me, or whatever, right? It's because of your experiences with other people, with the wrong people. But that is in the past. That's what's happened. So that you need to cast aside. I guarantee you, again, that nothing in the outside world is the reason why you don't have the type of life you have. It's all inside of you. So I want you to just let go. If you've been bitter and angry at the world, and at the outside world, and different people and circumstances, and where you were born, and what job you have, and you don't have money, and all of your circumstances outside of you, then I want you to just get some clarity for a brief period of time while listening to this. Just get some clarity, cast those things aside. And I want you to think about, be like, this is the most important thing that I can tell you. So if you take anything from today, you need to take this. Our ability as a human race to take responsibility for our actions is next to none, right? We do not have the ability to take responsibility, especially for things that we've done wrong, that we feel we are going to get ridiculed for, or even if we ridicule ourselves, even if we say, well, I don't have money because I've had the wrong spending habits, we will never take responsibility. But the ones that will win are the ones that will take responsibility. So for a brief moment, I just want you to let go. The key word here is vulnerability. People's ability to be vulnerable is, again, it's almost impossible. The reason being is we are programmed that way to not be vulnerable, because vulnerability can get us in trouble. As soon as we are vulnerable, then we open ourselves up for attack, which goes against the two highest values, survival and acceptance. But the people who are vulnerable, because you don't need to put up that guard anymore. We don't live in prehistoric times where something will attack you, or you'll get outcasted from your tribe, and then you won't survive, you won't find food. We don't live in that world anymore. It's a different world. That primitive survival mechanisms that we have are no longer needed. We can be vulnerable. So we need to overpower our subconscious, our survival mechanisms, and be vulnerable. And you don't need to say this to the outside world. You just need to be vulnerable to yourself. That's the key. So the people that will win are the people that can take responsibility and that can be vulnerable. So you need to, if you take anything from this video, take those two things. Strive to become vulnerable and to take responsibility for your own life, for your own actions. That's the key. You cannot do this meditation technique that I'm going to teach you now if you are not vulnerable and you're not if you don't take responsibility. Those are the two key factors you need, or characteristics you need to adopt before you can actually use this meditation to change your life. Now, why do I say this? Because when you think about the thing that you want, you need to ask yourself, why do I not have it? Why am I not attempting any action to get me, that will get me to my goal? Why am I not doing anything? And be focused inward. Do not focus on the outside world. As soon as an outside thought comes up, or some reason about the outside world. And outside world means money. It's got nothing to do with your clothing, your money, your house, your status, your job, your friends, your family, your mom and dad. It's got nothing. Those are all outside things. So you need to think inwards. Inwards does not mean the shape of your body or the size of your hands or anything. It means your mind, what you've been thinking and what you fear. What you've been fearing, because you fear something that's been holding you back. Because if I say to you, give me any example of something that you want, and think about any singular step that you can take that will move you in that direction. It doesn't matter how small, you can think of that. So if you can think about that, there is no such thing as you don't know, like you literally do not know what step to take. You know what step to take, but maybe 10 years have passed, or 5 years have passed, or 40 years have passed, and you haven't done that yet. You haven't taken a single step. Maybe you've dipped one little toe in the water and then pulled it back. That was 10 years ago. And maybe 10 years later, you dip another toe and you pull it back, and another 10 years go by. So you know exactly what's been holding you back. And then I want you to, what is meditation? Is becoming still, shutting out the outside world. Now that's most probably not the formal definition of it, but that's my definition of it. Shutting out the outside world. So sit down. I want you to sit down. You don't need to have some fancy space. You can literally do that anywhere. You can even sit in your car. Obviously not while it's moving, please. But you can sit anywhere. But get yourself some eye masks. This is what I've got. It's a little eye mask. So I just put that on. Just do this, right? It shuts out the outside world. And get some earphones or some headphones. And I choose Tibetan. I always Google on YouTube. I search for Tibetan drums or Tibetan singing bowls. Those ones work the best for me. It's just some tranquil sound that shuts out the outside world, and put yourself in that space. And you don't need to sit in that space and breathe in and out take deep breaths in and out and do all of those fancy things. You don't need to wait half an hour. You don't need to go into a deep state of meditation. You don't need to be in a theta state or in a alpha state or in a delta state. You don't need to be in any of those states. I just want you to shut down the outside world. Take that, do it for 10 minutes. Sit there for about 10 minutes. If you are somebody that falls asleep quite easily, do it for 5 minutes. If you're not, do it for about 10 minutes until you feel one with the darkness, until you are relaxed. But you can be fully aware. In fact, you have to be fully aware. And then I want you to really commit. Forget about the email you want to send. Forget about the food you need to buy, the house you need to clean, or the whatever, right? Unless you have obligations, people that rely on you, then attend to that. But if you don't, make sure it's in a time and space where you don't have to attend to somebody that needs your full-time attention. And then sit in that space, fully conscious, relaxed, and think about that thing that you want. And think about the reason why you've not taken that step. What's been holding you back? And ask yourself questions. Because once we start in a conscious state, start asking that question, you know what happens? If you just sit there and think to yourself, you don't do the meditation, don't put on the eye mask, you just sit there and you think, okay, why am I not taking the step? You know what your body does? Your body does not, or your subconscious mind does not want you to go there, because that's the fear that's holding you back. That's the fear that's ingrained in your subconscious mind. It doesn't want you to go there. So as soon as you start thinking about that, if I say that while you're listening to this video now, I'm sure you've tried to think about it, but all of a sudden you don't want to. All of a sudden now you remember, oh, I want to check out my Instagram. I want to go on social media. I need to quickly go do that. I need to do that, because you're plugged into this outside world, to this matrix that's keeping you from facing the things that your subconscious mind believes will threaten your survival. But once you shut all of those things out, it's easier. You just need that bit of a nudge. It becomes easier to forget about your phone and forget about the email and forget about the message and forget about the food and forget about everything. But fully conscious, sit there and think and force yourself, because your body will start to ache and your body will start to itch and you want to move and your legs become a little bit restless. And you know why that happens is because your subconscious mind knows exactly how to get you out of that state, because it now sees you are poking the bear, you are poking at something that it doesn't want to touch. It wants you to suppress that, keep it aside and never look at it, because that will, according to your subconscious mind, is a bit of the dumb one. It doesn't want you to do that, because that thing that's a little bit outdated wants to keep you safe, but it's outdated. It doesn't know how to in this day and age. So you need to fight that, and that's why I say it has to be something that you're truly passionate about, because you are going to have to overpower your subconscious mind, and you are going to have to sit there and think, okay, but why am I not doing this? And that's the key where vulnerability comes in. That's the key where you have to be vulnerable, because we can't even be vulnerable to ourselves, let alone other people. But we cannot be vulnerable to ourselves unless we force it, unless we let go. And maybe you'll see some tears coming out of your eyes once you are vulnerable for the first time in your life, because it's a liberating feeling to admit. It's a liberating feeling to just let go of that wall, that guard that you've been putting up all your life. And we don't only put it up in front of other people, we put it up for ourselves as well. That's why we don't admit, that's why we do not take responsibility. So think about it, and then something will come up. I guarantee you, whether it's your own mind coming up with the solution or the answer, or it's a download. Some people call it a download from the universe. I don't know what it is, but what I do know is it will come. I guarantee you, every single time. If you spend enough time in your own mind, your own space, and you don't get distracted by the outside world, that's when you will guarantee get the answer. And then something will come up like, you know what, I have never had the right relationship because I've been holding back and I didn't want to open up, or I'm afraid that I will get rejected, and that's why I reject people before they can reject me. I didn't even attempt to talk to that person. I'm rude to that person. You know, and I'm going on often a different tangent here, but you know how many people I've met who are extremely rude. And when I was younger, I just thought, you're a bad person, right? That's you just being rude. You think you're better than me, better than somebody else or other people. And now, after I've learned all of this about the law of attraction, the mind, I realized that that's just a guard that those people put up. There's no reason for them to be rude, unless it is themselves protecting, or their minds protecting themselves against the outside world. So you might be in a situation, your situation might be, I want to get into a relationship, but I always find myself not making eye contact, dismissing people, being rude, rejecting people, saying things like, that person's just after my money, or that person is a terrible person, they look at their habits, or they think they are better than other people, whatever the case might be. It's all your defense mechanism. But I want you to be vulnerable in that space. There's nobody around. So don't meditate with other people. Sit by yourself. Somebody can be next to you, sure, but they don't need to hear what you are thinking. So that's all you. You can be vulnerable to yourself. You don't need to say it out loud. Nobody needs to hear it. So all you need to do is then be vulnerable. Drop your guard for that brief period where you can let go and say, you know what, I've been saying all of these things all these years about these kinds of people because it's myself, it's me, trying to protect me because I feel insecure. I'm not good enough. And that, in that moment, that brief period, I'm talking about minutes. I'm not talking about hours or days or months. I'm talking about minutes. Within those couple of minutes, you'll uncover, first of all, as I say, you'll feel such a relief off your shoulders because for the first time, you've been able to be honest and vulnerable and just authentic to yourself, because that's also, we think we are authentic by ourselves and we just pretend in front of other people, We've evolved so much, our brains have evolved so much that we even pretend in front of ourselves. So in that moment, you'll feel a ton of relief when you are just able for the first time to break free from that facade, that mask you've been wearing, and be vulnerable and say, you know what, yes, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to save money. I don't know how to work with money. I don't know how to approach people because I'm insecure, because I don't feel good enough, because I'm not pretty enough, because I'm not strong enough, because I'm not rich enough, because I'm not whatever enough, right? Be vulnerable. And in that moment, you get the answer that you need to reprogram. You get the answer to the negative belief, the false belief that you've been carrying around for so many years, for your entire life. Doesn't matter where it started. Might have started when you were 2 years old, 20 years old, can be anywhere. Some people say that you get programmed in the first 7 years and then after that it's all on autopilot. I don't believe that. I believe that we go through certain traumas, events, we observe things throughout our lives that alter from that day onwards how we engage with people, how we perceive ourselves, how we act against or to the outside world. So it doesn't matter. You don't need to go back and find when did this happen or how did this happen. You need to figure out what is happening at this very moment. And then you have the answer to then you know what negative beliefs been holding you back. And now we can move forward. Then you can either do in that same session, but I recommend not. Come out of that meditative session or meditative space, and then you know consciously what's been holding you back. And then think about that for a bit. And again, in your awakened state, out of just normal beta brainwave state, sit and wonder about that, sit and think about that, and rehearse that vulnerability, rehearse that admittance of let's call it guilt, but of not feeling good enough, of reason of why you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do, what you know you need to do in order to get your goal in your awakened state. Because now it's already there. You've already admitted to yourself. You cannot take it back. Your subconscious mind knows it, your conscious mind knows it, your analytical mind knows it, everybody knows it within yourself, right? So start pondering on that for a bit, and then you can do it the same day, or you can do it a day later. I suggest do it the same day. Go take a break, get a cup of coffee, do whatever is healthy for you, and then go back into that same state. Put on your eye mask again, same music, same everything, and then start talking to yourself in an honest manner. And it doesn't matter what kind of tonality resonates with you. Some people resonate with hard, take action kind of advice or encouragement or motivation. Some people resonate with love and care and attention. It doesn't matter in whatever tonality, but see yourself as two separate people almost, where you talk to yourself. Once you're in that meditative space, again, you need to be fully conscious, but eyes shut and unaware of the outside world almost. So take 5 minutes to get back into that state, 5 or 10 minutes, and then start talking to yourself and saying what is the reality. Start talking real. So let's take an example. Let's say, again, relationships, because I'm just using that because a lot of people are struggling with relationships. So let's say you want this loving, caring relationship, and you've never had it, and you've now realized that it's because of you. You are sabotaging subconsciously these relationships or your chances. Whenever somebody wants to maybe introduce you to somebody, you'll be like, nah, I've got other plans. I don't like that type of person, or this or that, or whatever the case might be. And then start talking to yourself in a serious way, in a serious manner. Because the reason why you've been thinking like that is because you lack confidence in yourself. You don't feel whole as a person. You don't feel worthy. and you care about what other people might think. You care about what that prospective partner will think, or that person will think, and therefore you guard yourself. But you need to talk to yourself now and say, listen, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about what choices you make. Nobody cares. It's only you. So you need to, as I said, talk real to yourself. Tell yourself. Say, listen, nobody knows what I'm thinking. Nobody knows who I like. Nobody cares who I like. Nobody cares what my past looks like. Nobody cares. That person doesn't give a crap about who my parents are, where I come from, what job I have. They don't care. And if it's regarding your body or something physical that you've been programmed to believe is not adequate, not worthy of love and respect and admiration, then tell yourself, listen, whose opinion is the truth? Those opinions are opinions of some people, but who gives a shit about their opinions? There are other people that prefer the way I look. There are other people that prefer to be like with a person like me. Every single person will, if you are authentic, you will have somebody that admire you, somebody that likes you. That's a guaranteed fact. It's an absolute fact. So tell yourself, listen, I've had this experience from this guy or this girl or whatever. Who gives a shit? They don't even know that I exist anymore. They don't look at me. They don't follow me through social media and wait for me to screw up so they can ridicule me. They go on with their own lives. They've got their own problems to worry about. I am good enough. There's somebody out there for me. And I guarantee you, in that space, in that meditative space where your mind cannot get you out and get you plugged into the matrix, plugged into the reality, it has to listen to what you're saying. Because that's how the subconscious mind gets programmed. It's through the five senses: what we hear, what we see, what we taste, what we touch. So in that moment, it has to listen to you. And then you rationalize this to your subconscious mind. Because remember, the subconscious mind has got no rationale. It cannot reason. It's got no processing power. It only stores whatever information is given to it. And then keeps on recording that information day after day, year after year. But if you have a real talk to yourself in that state and say, you know what? Nobody gives a shit. Why should I give a shit? I can be myself. For once in my life, I can actually be myself. I give myself permission to be who the fuck I want. Every single day, every single moment. And the people that will admire, respect, love, adore me are out there. And as soon as I start opening up, as soon as I just show the world who I truly am, you don't need to change anything about yourself. You literally do not need to change anything about yourself. Nothing. The only thing you need to change is your own mindset, your own beliefs. To realize that you need to be authentically you. That's it, period. And people will flock to you, I guarantee you. The opportunities that you've missed, the opportunities that you've always wanted will start flocking to you. That is the law of attraction. That is how we get what we want, is by being authentic. Now you can apply this to any situation, any problem that you are facing, anything that you want, that you've always wanted. Money, health, it doesn't matter. You can apply it. If you are overweight, you want to lose weight, you want to look like that supermodel, and you've never been able to achieve that. You've tried diet after diet and nothing's worked. Break it down. Break it down. Say to yourself, why am I this way? Why do I want that? Why can I not achieve that goal? You'll find the answer. You'll realize that, oh, I'm insecure because of the XYZ. Or that's the belief that's been given to me. That, oh, you're not that shape, so you'll never have that body. Or you'll never have health, or your father's genes, you inherited your father's genes. and that's why you look the way you look, or whatever the case might be. And then let go of that. Go in that meditative space and let go of that. Say, that was my dad. He's got nothing to do with me. I can literally choose today to be who I want to be. Yes, I'm insecure. Yes, I don't look the way I am. I'm going to wear that loud and proud. And I'm going to now overcome that idea of who I was. And I'm going to work towards, because now I give myself permission to work towards the goal that I want. No fear is no longer going to hold me back. No negative or disbelief is going to hold me back. That thing that's been holding me back from taking the action, because it might be something like, it might be anything. I can give you a million different reasons, but I want you to think about your own situation. That's why I say these guided meditations, get rid of them. Do it yourself. You don't need to have a lot of experience. You don't need to even practice for a day or a week. You can literally do that now. So in my next video, what I will do is I will take a problem that I had, actually the most recent problem that I've had, and I will I'll do the exact meditation that I did that changed my life in literally under an hour, and I'll record that and you can listen to it just to give you some guidance, not to follow the exact same meditation, but to give you some guidance as to how did I do it, what I did, and I'll do that practically. So if you want to have that, then please leave me a comment below and tell me if you'd like me to do that, then I will. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can change your life. It's super easy. You just need to know how, and you need to take that action. If you need more information, if you need more help, if you need more guidance, then feel free to click the link below in the description. It will take you to, I don't know, my social media pages or my website, I think, where you can book a session, you can give me a call, you can send me a WhatsApp, you can send me an email, but try to reach out and I'll see if I can help you. But thank you once again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.